Hey guys, Justin Porter Media. Today we're going to talk about 5 mistakes every photographer makes, or at least the ones I made that helped me get to a better place with my photography. Hopefully by the end of this video, you can have these 5 things in mind and they can hopefully lead to better photos and happier clients. Let's jump right in. First on the list is under or overexposure. I get asked all the time about how I'm getting my photos to look so dramatic, or how do I get the background to be so dark. And yes, I do use high-speed sync, but even when I don't utilize high-speed sync, I'm always exposing for my background first. Now, what does this exactly mean? Before you go out and just take pictures, before you actually go out and do that, you need to actually adjust your exposure for the background. All you do, instead of taking a picture of your subject, tell your subject, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and take a photo of the background. Let me get my lighting together. That's typically what I say. I say, hang on 1 second. Let me get my lighting together. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my lighting together. Let me get my lighting together. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my lighting together. You're basically just taking a picture of the background, right? You're gonna take a picture. If your subject is standing in the middle of the street, you're gonna take a picture of the street where your subject would technically be standing. So if this is where you're at, your subject is right here, you're gonna take a picture of all that. Now here's something that I do and that I've learned to do with every single one of my photo shoots when it comes to taking a photo of the background and adjusting for light. Before I start, what I do is I actually go up, I take a regular photo, whatever my last settings were on my camera, I typically just start there so I can get a good glimpse. If it's too exposed, the very first thing that I always touch is my ISO. ISO, especially if you're a beginner, is going to be the #1 reason why a lot of your photos turn out very grainy. My definition of ISO is in-camera light. All right, and if the light isn't there, you really don't want to have a machine add light to it for you. Does that make sense? Aperture is basically how wide open your lens is going to be, right? And shutter speed is going to be how fast it actually takes the picture, which is going to determine how much light actually gets into the sensor because of how fast it's actually taking that shot. Now I know I'm probably sounding like a whole bunch of science and I didn't want to get too technical in this video, but I just really wanted to point out some of the differences between correctly exposing for your subject and exposing for the background. A lot of beginner photographers, even myself sometimes, I'll forget and I'll go out and start taking pictures and then I'll look at a few of them later in post and realize that, oh my God, the sun had none of the details. All the highlights are washed out. That's because I either overexpose or I underexpose. It's very, very easy to do. And as a beginner photographer, it's one of the very, very easy ways to lose a client and cause a client to be very upset. My idea when I first started photography was I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna shoot, and I'm just gonna edit all my pictures to look exactly how I want it to look. It's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do and you got all the time in the world, then hey, by all means, just skip through this video. But now that I've been shooting for some time, I realized that I want to get as much of the editing done in camera and very, very little to do when I'm in post or sitting here in front of my computer. Keep in mind, you are the photographer. You are the artist, okay? There is no right or wrong way to do it. You just need to do it and make your image look its best. You need your products to be its best when you deliver them back to your clients. Now, the third thing, and this is probably very, very easily underrated, but it's throwing on those cheap, janky Instagram filters, okay? It's not just Instagram. You got them on Facebook now. You got them on Snapchat. You got them on the Pixlr apps. All these different apps that you can download on your cell phone and throw a quick little filter on. Stop doing it. It destroys the quality of your images. Let me tell you why. These apps do not render your photos back in high quality. Now it may say high quality. I've had some apps that said, oh yeah, we're gonna render it at 2000 by 3000 or whatever the case was. And you get the image, you zoom in on it and it is destroyed. You want to edit if you can, if you have it, if you're able to do it and you can afford it, you want to edit from some sort of photo editing program from your computer. Even the Lightroom for the iPad does not render your image back in full resolution. You need that full resolution because that's going to give you the best zoom and crop capabilities. Now, if you're posting it on Instagram, you're just, taking quick pictures and you want to throw something up maybe for a story or just to have something to post, by all means, but your actual content you deliver back to clients should be the full resolution formats, not the ones that you throw on Instagram. When I first started, I'm not gonna lie, I started out taking pictures, I'm going out, taking pictures of people, and what I would do is simply take that photo, throw it on the computer, and then drag some preset filter right on top of it, right? And I'm not talking about Photoshop on the computer. I'm talking about when I have my Mac, I'm talking about using the actual Photos app, and I would just throw a little filter over it and call it a day. I mean, it literally blew my mind, some of the capabilities I was able to do by just tweaking the color tones, you know? By making an image warmer or making an image cooler, or, you know, darkening the exposure, brightening the exposure. It made so much more sense in Lightroom to be able to do these things. If it's at all possible and you can handle it, stay away from the presets. Going right into the fourth topic, shooting with a concept of how you want to edit in mind. Now this seems super advanced. This seems like something you wouldn't get until you're a veteran photographer. But I'm telling you, if I was a beginner again and I was just picking up a camera, if someone could tell me to start taking pictures with an idea of how I wanted to edit them, I promise you it would have cut out so much frustration when I was learning. The reason I'm saying this is because you'll go out and you'll typically take a picture, right? And you don't think about how you want to edit it. You're just taking pictures. You're not thinking if you want a dramatic photo shoot or if you want a very dreamy photo shoot. You're not thinking like that. You're just thinking of, hey, we're gonna go do a photo shoot real quick. Click, 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 click. I'm gonna edit these pictures and throw them back to you in Dropbox, right? That's what you're thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Now, you know, I still do it sometimes where I'll start shooting and then I completely forget about how I want to edit or what I want this photo shoot to actually turn into. So my fifth common mistake that most beginner photographers make is setting your image profile. What I mean by this is there's a little spot in your camera, DSLR or mirrorless or whatever you're shooting with, where you can actually adjust the in-camera profile. You want that profile to be as flat as possible. You don't want it to have a lot of contrast. You don't want it to have a lot of saturation. You want to be able to have full control of that in post so that you can make your image and actually deliver that image the way that you actually pictured it to be. And this goes for video editing as well. Shooting with a natural or flat image profile, as flat as you can get it to look, is your best bet. That way when you go to color grade these things later, you have full control and you can deliver the exact tone and mood that you're looking for. But anyways, that's it. That's my 5 common mistakes that most beginner photographers make. I made them, still making mistakes. I'm learning, which is why I'm making these videos. Hopefully I reached out to somebody and I'm helping you. Drop me a comment if you got any questions, any concerns, or if I didn't explain something too well and you need just a little more clarification. Hopefully these videos can help you and improve your work and your craft as well. That's pretty much it today, guys. I appreciate it again. I'll holla at you. Peace. If this is your first time here, be sure to like and subscribe. I plan to post videos every Monday with tips and tutorials on photo and video editing, as well as some exclusive unboxing behind the scene videos of my actual photo shoots and video sessions.